Hello, Hannah the Suburban Witch here, and today we are answering the question, can I call myself a baby witch? If you're new to my channel, I'm Hannah the Suburban Witch, a professional tarot reader and astrologer, and I love joining you here on YouTube and talking all sorts of things like this question, sharing my tarot unboxings, oracle unboxings, my reviews, sharing my learnings and my teachings. It's just a wonderful place to be. Before we continue, please hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me. It might not mean so much to you, but honestly, as a YouTuber, it's wonderful. So, this question, baby witch. Can I call myself a baby witch? I feel like this is really controversial, and it really shouldn't be. People get so worked up over this question. So I'm going to tell you what you might hear and then tell you what I think. If you've watched some of my videos, you should know, you're probably going to guess what I think, but I'll tell you what you'll probably hear, which will also tell you what I think. Anyway, what is spoken about is you're not a baby, you're not an infant, it's infantilizing, you're taking away any responsibility by using the word baby witch, you're giving your power to other people to teach you like a parent, it's ick, it's for people who don't know what they're doing, it's for armchair witches, all these things. If you can see my face right now, all of these things, even just saying them feels, I do like it. And then you hear things like, you don't call yourself a baby doctor, no, you call yourself a med student. That's the same vibe, right? What baby witch does, in my opinion, it's a way of telling other people, I'm new to the craft. I don't even know if the word witch feels right yet. I'm so new that don't listen to what I'm saying, just maybe help me along my path, right? It is a way of saying I'm not an authority figure here. It is a way of saying the word witch is a bit scary right now. I know for me, and I've talked about this on podcasts that I've done where people have asked me about my story. You can find all of them on my About page on my website, every podcast episode or interview I've ever done. When I started down this path, if I was to say I'm a witch, I would have run a million miles the other way. I was not there yet. In fact, someone once said to me years back, wow, you're a little bit witchy, aren't you? And I went, oh, kind of like that. But if I said to someone, oh yeah, sometimes I'm a bit witchy, would have the fear of demons and hellfire would have come upon me, right? I was not there yet. And I think that's the case with many people. If you didn't grow up with pagan or open-minded parents, then the word witch is going to have a lot of connotations. It already does socially, let alone religiously, and then personally, depending on your own life experience. So I think it is a safety measure that we put in place and an identifier to other people. I personally don't think there is anything wrong with the word baby witch. If you identify as a baby witch, awesome. I did too, right? I think I started out saying spiritual, witchy, baby witch. And now I'm a fucking witch. I am a witch, and I will say that proudly. But it's taken so long to get there. And even when I met new people, I probably wouldn't have used the word baby witch outside the community. They wouldn't have really understood it. But within the community, that is what it is. It's an identifier. Nothing more. Now, another part of this argument is when people come in and say, would you wouldn't have a surgeon come in and say, I'm a baby surgeon, right? Likewise, that would make you probably go, maybe he shouldn't be doing my surgery. If someone says, I'm a baby witch, you're not going to ask them to run a circle. You're not going to ask them to run a ritual. You're not going to ask them to do a spell for you, right? Because they're telling you, I'm not there yet, right? I'm not at that stage yet. They don't have to be. We don't have to force people to become fully initiated, fully fledged witches before they're ready. And if they stay in baby witch for a while, that's their journey. Okay. And I think the witchcraft community as a whole, it can be very judgmental. I have seen I'm in two minds about it because The parts that I'm in have been really warm, welcoming. The groups that I run are wonderful. And I've really carefully curated my feed of social media and people that I listen to and the groups that I'm a part of so that I'm not around all that negative, judgmental stuff. But it does come across my feed every now and then. And it's nasty. And there's a lot of drama and clicks and all of that. And I really, really, really try to stay out of it because I don't want that. But in saying that, that is in every group all around the world. You know what's really bad for it? The curly hair community. I was shocked. Some of those curly hair groups, they're very bitchy. So there is a lot of nastiness that is in any community. It's inherent. It's people. We're people. It's social. It just happens. But try not to take on the judgments of other people. I think what really happens is when people have that reaction to the word baby witch, that's on them. That's something in their journey. There's a reason they're having that reaction. Maybe a part of them is sad they never had that opportunity. Maybe they got thrown in the deep end. Perhaps they believe it dilutes the word or the power of the word witch. I can see that. But we're not asking them to use that word for them. Your practice, your identity is about you. The brilliant thing with witchcraft is there is no rules. It's not technically a religion. Whilst there are religions that have witches in them, and you are a witch if you're in that religion, witchcraft as a whole is free. So what are some other alternatives? I mean, you might feel uncomfortable using the term baby witch. That's also fine. But remember, we don't get to dictate what other people identify as. So some other terms are, I'm new to the craft. It's a bit more wordy. New witch. Now, the only caveat here, I don't have a problem with the term baby witch as a whole, especially when you're using it as an identifier for yourself. Totally fine. The only little caveat here, because there is nuance in everything that we do, right? It's not a blanket statement. If you are calling someone else a baby witch and you're using it as a derogatory term, that's where it becomes problematic. All right? If you're like, oh, don't listen to her, she's just a baby witch. Hello? That's horrible. No, right? You can't label someone else that unless they've taken it on themselves. I mean, some people say that baby witch is degrading, diminutive, means that you rely on everyone else for all of your learnings. I mean, you're reading a lot into it if that's what you're thinking. The people who use the word baby witch to describe themselves are not sitting in a nest with an open beak like, feed me books and information, I'm not going to do it myself. Have you met a baby witch? I mean, sure, there are people that do that, but that's a blanket statement if you say all baby witches are doing that, or by using that word, you're bringing that vibe into the way you absorb information or progress in the craft. Some people also say that it means you're someone who absorbs everything that you're told. There's no critical thinking. Again, I think people have just got too much time on their hands to pull it apart. Now, we all know a witch is a witch. That is the crux of it, right? And we don't need other little labels like green witch and hedge witch and all that, but they're fine to use. There's nothing wrong with using them. And the same goes for baby witch. So yeah, other ones, beginner witch, newbie witch, novice, fledgling. None of them roll off the tongue as easily. I feel like they all imply the same general vibe. And if I was coming out of where I was, out of the church, and I used the term novice witch, that is way scarier than baby witch. Way scarier in terms of a term. So you can progress through those. Just feel into some other alternatives that you might want to use. But just remember, baby witch is okay. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. Even though I might be the only one that's publicly spoke. I haven't actually seen any, I haven't gone searching completely. But I haven't seen many people talking out about it, about how that's not a bad thing. I see tons of the opposite. But remember, you do what's good for you. There's another term which is seeker, but you wouldn't use seeker witch, and it's very broad. So I think, honestly, any term someone used could be picked apart. And the fact that baby witch is fairly new with the newer generations and the newer influx of people, I think, particularly coming from religion, but also with social media and stuff, I think the people that are pushing back on it are just mainly the fact that it's new. It's something new, right? And we can pull anything apart if we really want to. But we can also build things up. We can change the dialogue. So I'm here to put that out there. I'm changing the dialogue. Baby witch is totally fine, as long as you're not calling someone else that when they're not saying it themselves. It's a self-identifier. And lastly, this could be the problematic part. What I see a lot of people doing is going, quotation marks, right? All the baby witches that I've met come to me in my DMs and say, hi, I'm a baby witch. Can you help me with X, Y, and Z? And they want me to teach them everything. It's said in a way that makes what I think people who are new to the craft never want to reach out ever again. It shames them for doing so. And whilst I don't think it is on us to teach freely, a lot of us have platforms to teach. That's what I do. What sort of person would I be if I'm like, here's all this free content on all these things you can learn, but ask me a question and it'll be your last? No. If someone comes to me in my DMs and they say, hey Hannah, I'm a baby witch and I had this dream and I can't figure it out. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go, hey, I have a blog post for that. Refer them on or refer them to my YouTube video version. If you're getting those frequently asked questions, that means that your audience isn't being taught that or can't find that information. Yeah, there are some people who don't want to go and look for it themselves, don't want to Google it. And if it is a stupid question, I have been known to be like, you could probably Google that. I'm not going to spend my time on that. But if you come up against any obstacles, feel free to come back. Because I don't want to block that off, right? I don't want to turn them away fully. But that is so rare. That has so rarely happened. Most of the time, it is a genuine question, a genuine plea for assistance. And if it's a frequent question, I make content to fit that, right? I fill that gap. And that's what people should be doing. And I see people instead turning off their DMs. Where are people going to go? No wonder we have all this horrible discourse over on different social media platforms, bickering and talking about the right things and the wrong things, because often they're newer to the craft, talking amongst themselves, because those who do know something or have those answers can't be bothered telling anyone. And I also don't think that they should, or that they should have to, but at least be more kind about it. That's all I think I want to say. Because we've all been there. We've all been there. And I know personally, I dislike when I message someone who I see as an authority figure on a topic. And so that is part of my research. Like, oh, I've found this person who knows all about this stuff that I'm struggling with. I will ask them. They'll know where to point me, or they'll be able to help. And when they don't ever answer DMs, or their DMs are blocked, it's like oh, well, now what? Like, maybe I asked Google and Google didn't give me the results because it's a really nuanced thing and I don't know where to turn, and this is where bad information comes in. There was a lot more to this video than I realised. So let me know your own thoughts below. So go forth, my baby witches. And if you need any extra help, or if you have any further questions, pop them in the comment section below. I'd love to help you. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. Go and check out my website. I have new and full moon ritual worksheets that you can download. They'll give you all of them for every moon coming up. And it's a guide for how to work with that lunar energy. Perfect for beginners and anyone that just needs a little bit of guidance in that as well. It's very practical. And definitely go and check out my Patreon, especially if you're a baby witch or witch curious. Witch curious is another good word. On my Patreon page, we have, those full moon and new moon ritual worksheets go up every new and full moon. But we've also got our private Facebook group, which is where all the fun's at. It is honestly one of the best witchy groups I've ever been in. And I'm not just saying that, it literally is. Everyone's become friends. We do tarot development, we do intuitive development in there, and then people share and they just ask questions, and it's just a really wholesome place. Really supportive. I'll pop the links below and I hope to see you there.